Descartes was born on March 31st of 1596 in the small French town of Rene. Due to his father's involvement in Parliament, Descartes was raised by his grandmother along with siblings.
Always considered a sickly child, Descartes was excused from 5 a.m. masses while attending school at La Flamme by a doctor who discovered that he had a low immune system. Descartes would spend his mornings in bed, thinking, and he kept this habit throughout his life. The graduating class of 1611 put together a series of poems. Within it, Descartes published a sonnet that is said to have directly inspired and influenced Galileo when he made his discovery in 1610.
Although obtaining a degree in law, Descartes ultimately did not pursue a career in it.
In 1618, after joining the army, Isaac Beekman, who was impressed with Rene's intelligence, tried to convince him into getting into mechanics and hydraulics. In 1622, Descartes got in a duel, but when his opponent didn't have a weapon, he showed mercy and also demonstrated his chivalrous attitude. Over the next few years, Descartes became known as the thinker of Europe, and in the late 1620s, a college in Holland asked him to investigate the existence of God.
Although interested in Galileo, when Descartes discovered he transferred his books due to prosecution by the church, it scared him into halting his own studies.
I was so astonished that I almost decided to burn all of my papers, or at least to let no one see them. But for all the world, I did not want to publish a discourse in which a single word could be found that the church would have disapproved of, so I preferred to suppress it rather than publish it in a mutilated form.
Rene Descartes was often quoted as saying that he had a fetish for squinting.
When I was a boy, I fell in love with a girl who had a bit of a squint, and for a long time afterwards, whenever I saw someone with a squint, I felt the passion of love. So, if we love someone without knowing why, we can assume that the person is somehow similar to someone else whom we loved before, even if we don't know precisely how. Then, after a 3-year affair with a servant woman, Helen, he produced a love child, a daughter named Francine.
Passing Francine off as his niece, Descartes was a very devoted uncle and gave Francine everything her heart desired, including dolls. In 1640, Francine, at the age of 5, tragically died of scarlet fever in Descartes' arms. Descartes was so devastated that it temporarily halted his studies again, and he remained celibate for the rest of his life. However, before Francine's death, Descartes published his Discourse in June of 1637, which contains his famous quote, "Je pense donc je suis, cognito ergo sum," or "I think, therefore I am."
Descartes was determined to get his teachings and philosophies taught in Jesuit colleges, and to do so, he created textbooks defending his theories.
In 1643, Descartes began corresponding with Princess Christine, an exiled princess who encouraged him to study the body, the soul, and passions.
In late 1649, Queen Christina of Sweden invited Descartes to teach her about the philosophies and the passions. Although Descartes wanted to refuse Queen Christina, the mindset of the day was that if a royal summoned you, you were obligated to oblige.
I am not in my element here, and I want only peace and quiet. I think that in winter, men's thoughts here freeze like water.
Queen Christina requested that Descartes get up at 5 in the morning each day to teach her. Because of his weak immune system, he quickly contracted a chill, and on February 11, 1650, Descartes died of pneumonia.
death, Descartes was buried in Sweden, but his friends and friends wanted his body to be moved there, so they sent the coffin. Unfortunately, the coffin was too short, so the easy solution was to decapitate Descartes so he would fit. Not only that, but the French ambassador also wanted a souvenir, so he took his right forefinger.
Around 1821, Descartes' head was rediscovered and promptly returned to his body.
While attempting to ship Descartes' works from Sweden back to France, the ship was sunk, and it took 17 years of restoration before they could fully restore and publish his works.
Descartes was an inspirational mathematician, scientist, and philosopher.
Pavlov also gave credit to Descartes for working on the reflex, which he discovered 300 years earlier.
Rene Descartes' teachings and philosophies carried through to modern science, including psychology.
Descartes' teachings may have taught us many things, but the one thing we must remember of them all is, I think, therefore I am.
Queen Christina, being a busy queen, sounds so dumb.
Being
a busybody, being a busy queen.
Asked him to discover and question the existence of God.
Don't say questions!
No, I didn't mean to!
To investigate the existence of Princess Peach. Ganondorf just stormed right in. Bowser was eating them. Oh my god, now I'm picturing Descartes in like a Mario outfit.